Alejandro Ordas registered for the draft on January 28, 1944 in San Jose, California. 3 months later, on April 1st, he enlisted in the United States Army at the Presidio of Monterrey. He served as a member of the 12th Cavalry Regiment, which participated in the invasion of the Philippines. Landing on Leyte on October 20th, 1944, the regiment was assigned the most difficult terrain in the central mountain regions and faced fierce fighting. The battle was characterized by the bloody struggle for Hill 2348 on November 15th. After being cut off from their supply lines, the battalion held off waves of suicide attacks. Finally, on the night of December 2nd, the troopers counterattacked and took the hill. The first team lost 241 killed in action during the fighting on Leyte. 3 days later, Private Alejandro Ordas was reported killed in action. His final resting place is Golden Gate National Cemetery, Section C, Site 766. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Client Stories with DNAngels. My name is David Vargas. Alejandro's story is one common to many families during World War II, but it's also part of my family story. You see, Alejandro was my grandmother's second cousin, but I would never have learned his story without the discoveries that DNA allows us to make. This Memorial Day, please leave an American flag emoji in the comments in remembrance of the men and women, like Alejandro, who sacrificed their lives for our freedoms. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to like and share this video. A couple of years ago, I was looking through my father's DNA match list and came across a pretty distant match to him at 26 centimorgans. Normally, this wouldn't be something that I'd dig into too much. It's pretty distant, and it's hard to come across more information for those types of matches. But this is also one that I knew was on my grandmother's maternal side, which is an area of my tree which doesn't have a lot filled into it anyway. So I decided to delve in and see what I could find. I did what any good genealogist would do and started building their family tree back a few more generations. I found her mother, her name was Hilda, and I found her grandparents and all the normal documents that you would find, the records that you would look to, birth records, censuses, marriage records, death records, they all lined up, and I was able to build out her tree a few generations, even going back into Mexico, where I was able to connect those families, her family, to my family, and figured out how we were related. Of course, I was excited about that, and it was great to sort of see that connection and how we were related. But one part of her family caught my eye. Hilda, her mother's brother, her uncle, had died during the 1940s at a young age. That's when I located Alejandro and explored his service record. But there was something else. As I was looking at Alejandro and sort of looking at his history, I realized that he had married before going off to war and had had a son. So I started digging into that son and figuring out who he was, where he may have wound up, and those sorts of things. And I decided that the first thing I would do is go check all of my DNA matches again on all of the databases. And I was amazed to find him on 23andMe matching me at 17 centimorgans, a very small DNA match, but it had his name, it had his location, and so I really dug in and I started to search for him. I looked on Facebook, I looked through all of the normal locations you would look for information, and I was able to locate him on Facebook, sent him a message, but I did a little bit of Facebook stalking and I found his wife, his daughter, his sons, and his daughters-in-law even. And I sent message to a lot of them trying to see if I could get in touch with anyone. The next day, amazingly, his son messaged me back. He was a little bit trepidatious, but I was sitting here telling him that I thought we were related, and I'm sure everybody can kind of understand where he would be coming from, being a little bit nervous about somebody contacting him out of the blue like that. Meanwhile, I also messaged the original DNA match, who shared with me a lot of information, and she did get back to me on Ancestry, which is amazing in and of itself, and she did that the very same day that I messaged her. So sometimes when you send messages out there, you don't hear back for days, weeks, even months, if ever sometimes. So I was so excited to hear back from both of them. I collected all of their contact information from both sides of those families, and I then put them in contact with each other. Her mother and his father were first cousins to one another, but they had never met each other because his father had died when he was still a baby. So a few weeks later, they met in person for the first time and have been able to stay in touch since. They even sent me an invitation to join them at another reunion that they were having, and I wished so that I could have joined them, but I wasn't able to. But they've been able to share photos with me of their reunions, of the many times that they've connected. So it's been great and very gratifying to see two cousins who really never would have known each other or known about each other without the strength of DNA and connecting all of those genealogy dots and really putting things together. Thank you for watching this episode of Client Stories with DNA Angels. Don't forget to place an American flag in the comments, then like, subscribe, and share this video. If you or someone you love is searching for a biological parent, grandparent, or trying to break down a brick wall in your family tree, visit us at DNAngels.org. We're here to help you find answers. Parent searches are always free, donations are appreciated, and other services may come with a fee. Visit our website to learn more.